Want to know your starting calories? Well, today I'm going to show you how. Hi, I'm Alexis, climate dietitian, sports dietitian, and nutrition coach. Welcome back to one of my videos. Thank you so much again for watching. Now, of course, remember, before we deep dive into today's video, remember to subscribe, ring the bell. Awesome. So one of the first things you have to determine when you first get started with flexible nutrition is what are your baseline calories, your starting point, like your baseline metabolism, so to speak. That is what I'm going to teach you today. See, determining your caloric needs can be done in a number of different ways. Some are better, some are worse. Today I'm going to teach you one of those methods. But I will say first things first is this is just a starting point. Okay, it's just a ballpark figure. It's just to give you some guidance in the initial stages. It's meant to be iterated. It's meant to be adjusted. So you will have to potentially adjust these calories to determine the actual needs you require to achieve the specific goal you were trying to achieve. All in all I'm saying is that calibration will be needed. Okay, calibration is key. Make sense? Good. So overall, there are 3 steps to determining your caloric needs. Okay, number 1, you have to determine what your total daily energy expenditure is. That's kind of first thing you got to do. Then 2 is you got to establish what is your physical activity level, okay, and give it a factor. And then third thing is actually then finally determining what is your caloric needs for a specific goals you're trying to achieve. So today I'm going to show you an equation that I've used in the past, and it's the Alan Aragon equation. So if you're not familiar with Alan Aragon, he's a big player in the nutrition game, one of the people that inspires me, and I'm going to use his equation today because it kind of puts everything in a nice nutshell when you first get started, just to give you a ballpark figure. But even he will tell you these equations are just to get you going. If you are already aware of what you're eating and you have a good kind of baseline established nutrition intake, you can use that to inform your decision making. But if you're just kind of starting from scratch, your awareness is not quite there, or you just want a general kind of ballpark kind of starting point, then this equation can be a good way to get you started. Essentially, this equation will kind of put those 3 steps into the one to determine your baseline starting calories, potentially going to be your maintenance calories. But like I said, calibration is key. Calibration may be needed to actually adjust it into the kind of the playing field that you need to achieve the goal, whether it's a deficit or in a surplus or whatever. So what's the equation? Well, I've got it here on the screen for you. As you can see, it's your body weight in pounds multiplied by a figure of between 9 to 16 plus the amount of hours in a week that you do exercise. Okay, it's very simple. That's basically the equation we're going to be using today. Now, when it says target body weight, okay, first of all, you can see it's in pounds, so you have to make sure that's accurate. But the thing is that what is your target body weight is something that I get asked quite often. Well, there's different ways to determine this because it's going to be hard for a lot of you to actually determine whether your lean body weight is X, Y, and Z. You may just want to find out what your ideal body weight is, like a lean level that's kind of on paper, the ideal body weight. So say that you're aiming for, it doesn't necessarily have to be your goal, but saying that you feel like, okay, if you got to that you'd be pretty lean at that level. That could be the figure you use here, just to be a bit more accurate. But if you want to, you can just use the target body weight you're going for because that will still be okay to get you started. Because like I said, these equations are not perfect. They're not an exact science. Therefore, some slight adjustments here and there are not going to impact it too much as long as you're still maintaining some level of control. Okay, so hope that makes sense. But yeah, don't stress too much about this. Just determine what roughly is the target body weight you want to aim for and just use that figure. Nice and simple. Then the 9 to 16 figure that you saw there before in the equation is basically your factor of NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or to keep it nice and simple, your incidental activity. So what you'd want to determine is what's your normal lifestyle like outside of exercise, okay, not including exercise here. What's your normal lifestyle like? Are you mostly just when you get home, sitting down watching the television? Are you, when you're at work, are you sitting down in the office mostly for the whole day? Things like this will determine what your overall incidental activity is. And then you give it a factor between 9 to 16. 9 being quite sedentary to 16 being very hard labor, doing tradie work, carpentry and electrician, all that sort of stuff where there's a lot of movement constantly during the day. You might want to go up to the higher levels. Or of course, depending on how much weight loss you want to lose, or if you want to gain muscle, whatever it is, you may want to use that to adjust as well. But generally speaking, you just want to look at it from the incidental activity perspective. How much activity do you do that's not exercise during the day? Give yourself a figure between 9 to 16 and use that. And then of course your hours of physical activity a week is everything that's related to exercise, training, all that sort of stuff. gym, sports, doesn't matter, anything that's related to being exercise, say that you've specifically went and I want to go for a workout, that's counted there. You just kind of added up your hours across the week and use that figure in there. So let's use an example to illustrate this a bit more effectively. Let's say we're using someone who's 95 kilos and they want to get down to 80 kilos or 176 pounds. This is how it would look. Say that they play basketball 3 hours a week, they go to the gym 3 hours a week, and they do a long walk 1 hour a week. Okay, so we've got 7 hours of physical activity there. Now, let's say their lifestyle is quite office-based. They're sedentary for most of the day, but when they get home, they actually do a lot of housework and a bit of gardening and things like that around the house that keeps them on their feet when they're away from the workspace. Let's say we could use a factor of 10 for that one. Okay, not quite 9, not quite higher than 10 because they're still not that physically active outside of, the exercise side of things. But 10 will be kind of a good ballpark figure, just to kind of be conservative. Then you grab all these figures you just calculated and you plug it into the equation. You get 176 times in brackets 10 plus 7. As you would have seen from the equation before, the numbers should make sense to this point. This would give the individual about 2,990 calories to get started with, potentially for weight loss. Okay, because we're using that target body weight, it potentially will get them towards weight loss. But this is now the key point that I want to end with there. Yes, you've got now your baseline, potentially deficit calories. But like I said, it's a starting point. It may be accurate, it may be inaccurate. It may be too low, it may be too high, it may be just right if you're lucky. But that's your job now to determine. And then obviously enlist help from like a dietitian if you need to get that personalized guidance to get you to the next step. You are human, remember. Equations don't account for the human factor, the human variance, so to speak. So what this person would ideally do is they'll get started on these calories and assess what's happening. Look at their biofeedback. Look at how they're progressing. Are they actually losing weight if that's what they're trying to achieve? If yes, they can deem that those calories can be okay. Obviously, depending on how rapid that weight loss is, of course, you may be too rapid, which is never a good thing. But that's now the thing that you need to do, is you got to determine what progress is happening as a result of this starting point, and then change and calibrate from there. So use equations if you need to give you a starting point, but there has to be calibration after that to actually get you to the right level and get something more individualized, something more personalized, and something more effective for you. Okay, so that is the equation. Hope that's giving you a bit of guidance. Hope it's giving you like a nice different way of calculating your starting point, because there's many equations out there. Okay, so many equations. Like I've said, there's strengths to some of them, there's weaknesses to others, and there's an overall limitation to all equations, which is the fact that an equation does not account for your human variance. So there's so many factors that play there, genetics, all this sort of stuff. Okay, all this sort of stuff can be impacting you. So now what you need to do is you've got your starting point, you've determined that, and now if you find that you still need that individualized help, you still need to get over that hump, get over that obstacle, so to speak, and actually start getting real results, well, that's where I can help you. You don't need to do this alone. Nutrition may be simple to a degree, but it's not necessarily easy. And I'm sure you know this, especially if you yourself have been trying to change over the years and things have been a struggle city. So if you want to stop struggling, if you want to stop feeling stuck and actually want to start getting some momentum with nutrition, getting some real results, well, I can help you there. I can help you get the results that my clients are currently getting by providing an individualized roadmap that actually gets you from point A to point B. So I can calculate your caloric needs for you, take out the guesswork, do all the hard stuff so you can do the easy part, which is the doing. Because with my accountability, with my guidance, with my plan, the doing becomes easier. And I'll be there every step of the way as your coach. I'll personally work with you to create a nutrition lifestyle plan that is lifestyle compatible, and it's going to get you results in the long term. And in fact, I have spots available right now in my coaching program, in my premium one-on-one coaching experience. So if you're keen, then I want you to apply and see if you're the right fit, and we can go from there. The link, of course, as always, is in the description below. Otherwise, you can obviously send me an email at alexa@theclimbingdietitian.com.au and send me a response there and say I'm keen to learn more or whatever it is, and we'll go from there. If this is something you're ready to do, please apply now, get things moving now, because the thing is, you don't want to leave things too late, because things will potentially just get harder, especially if your motivation gets down. But if you take action now when you know you're ready, you'll be able to tackle that mountain, so to speak, a lot more effectively. So yeah, take action quickly. Of course, as always, if you have any questions about today's video, please drop them in the comments below. Smash the like button if this video has been helpful, if you've now got better insight in terms of your starting calories and it's giving you a bit of a boost. Hit the like button, show me some love. Subscribe as always if you haven't already done so. Stay classy. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.